Hi. Hello everyone, it's Diane from Stamping with Diane. And I am here in Innisfil, Ontario, and I love to join you on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to share my love of stamping with you and to introduce you hopefully to some new ideas, some new techniques, and just let you know about any sales and specials that Stampin' Up! Has. So if you do not already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, then I would love to help you out and help you to place any orders, or if you see anything that I'm showing you tonight that is of interest to you, don't hesitate to type it into the comments and let me know. So I can't believe we are at the end of August already, last day of August, and this is the 5th Wednesday of August. So I have already given you 4 weeks. Hi Bonnie, hi Val, thanks for saying hello and letting me know that you're watching. Please, if you watch the replay, type in the hello as well so I can see who's been tuning in, and it allows me just to connect with you a little bit. So I've already done 4 weeks of the Tea Boutique, so I thought tonight would be a bonus week, and we're going to deviate from the Tea Boutique because it's August and it's still adventure time. I thought for just tonight I'm going to highlight this Adventurous Journey stamp set, and I've got more than one project to show you, so I'm going to zip through a few things there tonight. So stay tuned and hang in there with me. Today as well is the very last day of celebration for this celebration period, which was July and August. I'm really happy that some of my customers have taken advantage of the starter kit during this promotion because it's absolutely the best value. It's always a great value, but during celebration, they threw in an extra $65 planner, notebook, plus stamp set package that was free on top of your regular starter kit. So it was a great deal, but there's still time until midnight tonight. You could take advantage of that. So talk to me if you'd like to be on my stamping team. Never any pressure to sell, but you always get to buy from yourself at a 20% discount. So it is a great deal. As of tomorrow, September 1st, I hope you're on my newsletter list or that you check into the Facebook page regularly, because I will be posting tomorrow and for all of September, we are going to be offering weekly deals. So Stampin' Up! Is discounting a few, they say about 10 to 15 items from the catalog, from our regular catalog. They will be discounted for 1 week. So keep that in mind. Watch for favorite things that you might be needing. And I don't know what those items are yet, but I will post it as soon as I find out. So that'll be a great opportunity to save some more money as well. All right, I'm going to flip us around because, as I say, I do have quite a few things I wanted to show you tonight. I was so happy last evening. I was able to stamp with some friends, and they made fantastic cards. It was the Stamp-A-Stack, which had to be postponed a little bit. So it happened last night, and the gals made 10 different cards, and I've posted on my page how they've turned out and how you can take a card and change it up, that they all look different. All right, we're going to use this Adventurous Journey. If you know me personally, you know that I love to kayak, and I have been out kayaking quite a bit this year. So I'm going to ink up this kayaker with my Memento black ink. Now you noticed I've turned the ink over, and that works just fine as well for sometimes when you're using a larger stamp. Now it looks like I've got pretty good coverage there. Let's give it a go. So just going to stamp this kayak, and then I'm going to do some coloring with our stamping blends. So just bear with me. I've pulled out a few of our colors here, and my kayak is red, so I thought I'm going to just kind of start with red here which is, as I say, what my kayak is. So I usually start around the outside when I'm using my blends, and I usually start with the darker tone. I think that's the one I have here. So I kind of go around the outside edges and then kind of come in with the wider tip. So did you have a good day today? Please forgive me when I'm coloring and looking down here. I can't see the comments, but please do continue to make comments, and I do check those as soon as I can see my screen again. But right now, okay, so I'm just coloring here. This is, as I say, with the Stampin' blends. These are alcohol-based markers, so they will, over time, they will eventually dry out. I celebrated my 3rd anniversary with Stampin' Up just last week, and I just noticed yesterday that I have one color has dried up. So that's pretty good for 3 years. And of course you can easily replace them, and they do come in the set of 2, a light and a dark. So this is the real red, actually. And I think I'm going to color my paddles. I'm going to make them yellow. So we want them to be nice and visible when you're out on the water. One day when I was out this summer kayaking, it was very, very foggy because I was out early in the morning, and I was very thankful that my kayak was bright red, because I thought if another boater comes along, they're going to be able to see me, because I literally could not see where I was going that morning. But it was kind of exciting. I mean, I knew the lake, so I wasn't concerned. Okay, I'm giving myself kind of an orangish life preserver here, and safety first, always have your life jacket. And I'm going to give myself a little bit of a bright blue outfit. I like that this stamp, with this stamp, it's just obviously you're looking at the kayaker from the top. So could be a child, could be an adult, could be male, could be female. It really is versatile that way. And you can, of course, color it according to whatever you have for your adventures. So I'm going to do the hat in just a light gray here, and I haven't really shown you how the blender pens work. So here, let me do a little bit of the darker shade to give a bit of depth here. And I think I'll color this part of my kayak, this ridge. I'm going to color this in the gray as well. And with the blender pens, now this particular project isn't really conducive to mixing the colors as much, but I'm just going to use this gray and kind of go over this section just to fill that in. There we go. Okay, so this is the other red. Is this the other red? No, that's pink. Don't use that one. Here we go. Here's the other red. And I can come back over this now and add just a little bit more and fill in any of these spots that I might have missed. And there we go. So quick and easy. There is my kayak. And yeah, okay, that'll do for now. Now this stamp set does not have dies, coordinating dies. So I'm just going to take a quick minute here and fussy cut. That's what we call it when we actually cut with scissors. Fussy cut this little kayaker out. I think I always keep track of how many times I kayak, and I think I'm at 20 for this season. We do have another trip planned, so if I don't get out close to home in the next week or so, I'm hoping that I will still be able to get over 20 kayak rides this year, which I think is pretty good. As I say, it's just a hobby, it's a recreational, and we just love to take our kayaks with us when we go camping and try new spots. So I just thought this is a really fun stamp set for kayakers, or of course, maybe you're not the kayaker, but you might want to give this card to somebody who likes to paddle. The other vessel on this stamp set is the rowboat. So that's fun as well. That could be worked in for fishermen, anybody who likes to fish, or again, just paddling around the lakes in your rowboat, whatever. Okay, so that didn't take too long to cut that out. Now for my base, I've already assembled parts of it because I wanted to put this together quickly. So I have a thick card base. This is the thick basic white, and it's folded. I cut it at 4 1/4 and left the 11 inches and scored it at the 5 1/2. And then I've layered it with a basic black, and I've put a layer of our metallic silver on top. And then I'm going to use tonight, this is one of our designer series papers, and I could use this blue, or I could use this blue. So tell me if you like A or B. So this will be A with the dots, and this will be B with the diamonds. So quick type that in for me. And also this stamp set has a couple of fancy little swirls. So this I'm going to add when you tell me which one you like, A or B. And this has some little lily pads and whatnot. So if you're going through the swamp area. And while I'm waiting for that, this is going to be September's Vintage Tools. And I think we're going to come up with some really fun cards to use with this Vintage Tools. Okay, I see an A. So we're going to go with the dots. All right. Okay, thanks, Val. So here's the dots, and I'm going to use a Starry Sky ink, which is one of our newest ink colors. I'll just daub that up, and I'm going to kind of see where I'm planning to sit this. And there's one, and I'll put the other one just a little bit behind, as if the kayak has just gone through there, has just paddled through. There we go. And okay, so thanks, Val. I'm going to adhere this one on. And I'll just use our regular Stampin' seal. I'm also wanting to show you tonight, not just this stamp set, but some ways of using our heat embosser. Okay, now I wanted it this way, and I'll pop that on. And then we can put our kayaker on top. I think I'll use the liquid glue for this. Just gonna stick a scrap underneath. So with the Stampin' Blends, they do bleed through the paper. I've told you that before. So you want to make sure that they're not, that it's not the top layer of your card, because it will show through on the back side. And just a little dabs here of glue. I'm just going to let that sit for a second. And then I'm going to have you make another vote for me. But what I'd like to show you is how we do use the heat embossing. So I have just a sample of scrap paper here. The first thing you want to do is use your embossing buddy. You give it a little wipe, and that takes any static off your paper. Now the great thing is Stampin' Up! Has just released a whole embossing toolkit, which has the embossing buddy, a tray so you don't make a mess, and a tool to hold on to your project so you don't burn your fingers. And it also has a brush. So this one says, wishing you an adventurous birthday or journey and happy happy journey or happy birthday. So I just want to show you quickly how we can layer those up. I think I would like this to say, let's do happy and birthday. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to set my happy, move that out, that will be next month's. So I hope that one appeals to you. It's quite different than anything I usually use, that vintage tools. So there, I've lined up my happy and my birthday, made sure they're straight on. And I'm just going to press down and pick those stamps up. So now it looks like it's one stamp. I'm going to ink it up with Versamark, which is kind of a sticky product. It's like a, and you can leave it as such. Sometimes you use this as background stamping, but there is a happy birthday on there. You probably maybe can't see it too well on the camera. So we use the Versamark because, as I say, it is a bit sticky. Our embossing powders come in sets of 3 colors, and then I dump them into a larger container, and I just cover over and shake off the excess, and now I don't have any kind of a mess at all. And then I bring in my heat tool, plug it in, and heat it up. And I usually, oh good, you agreed, I'm glad. I usually then hang on to this with a large paper clip so I don't burn my fingers, but our embossing toolkit comes with a nice little tweezers that you can hang on with. And I'm going to cover that over. This embossing powder will last a very, very long time because you hardly use any at all. And then through the magic of technology here, I'll show you how that turns out. So this is the white powder on black, and I also did it on blue. So I need you to vote again which one you like best. But that's how easy it is to emboss. Okay, I'm bringing our card back in. I'm going to pop our kayaker on there, and we have the black version in the basic black or the blue version. So I need you to type in black or blue. Which one do you prefer? And this, because it had the Versamark on it, I can clean it just the same way I usually do. I can just use my Stampin' Scrub, a little squirt of my Stamping Mist cleaner, give it a wipe here on the side that I've just squirted. Oops, that one popped off. There we go. And then I bring it over to the other side and give it another wipe with the dry side. And then those are cleaned right off. All right, have you told me you would like blue? No, black. Black. Look. Okay. Aha. One is saying blue, one is saying black, and I can't see any other comments. I think you'll agree either one works just fine. And I've just flagged the end and tied a little bit of a simple bow on there. Okay, I've got another black, a black vote and a blue vote. So I would just pop couple of dimensionals on there. Any other votes? Both look great. Okay, I saw a black vote and a blue vote, and I think sorry Deb, I'm gonna go with Val's vote for this time. I just like how it ties in the black here and a little bit of black on the kayak, and there you go. So you could see that that could work for anybody, and you can put your sentiment inside. Here's another sample that I've made. This is using the rowboat. The way I did this one was I cut a curved line of the Sahara sand cardstock, as well as this olive green. I think it's olive green, might be pear pizzazz, and which actually gave me 2. So it gave me the reverse. So I have another card that has the green on the top and the Sahara sand on the bottom. Then I've stamped just like I showed you tonight. I used the Versamark marker the Versamark ink, this, to stamp my 3 rowboats, one facing upright, the other 2 upside down. Then I dipped it in the black embossing powder and heat embossed to give that shiny reflection on there. Then I've done Wishing You an Adventurous, and the same technique I just showed you, Wishing You an Adventurous, and then I popped Birthday right underneath on the same stamp at once so that I don't have to try and line that up afterwards. And this is a fun little bow. I've just put the suede ribbon through the punch hole, and then I took a little piece of Mossy Meadow twine and tied it around. So that's actually what's holding that bow. So this stamp set also has paddles, and so I stamped a couple of paddles and fussy cut them out and put them on the inside of the card. So I thought that would look cute with the rowboats on the outside and then the little paddles on the inside. And now I have one more I'd like to kind of work through with you. How's our timing doing? I think we're good. So this one, I'm going to use a little piece of our fluid watercolor paper, and it's just about a half a sheet that I've chosen. And I'm going to stamp using the soft suede. I'm going to stamp, let's switch it out and do the rowboat this time. So I'm getting rid of my kayak, pop him back in. It's nice that the stamp sets now have the images right printed on the inside cover, so it makes it easy to tell that you've got your words and your pieces back in. So before I put it back on my shelf, I check to make sure I have them all. All right, so let's do a little bit. We've done heat embossing with a label. We did heat embossing, or you saw how I did heat embossing with an image. And this time I'm going to stamp, this is the soft suede, and I'm stamping our rowboat on the fluid watercolor paper. Okay, it's still a nice crisp image. And now I'm going to pull in, we have some watercolor pencils. We have actually 2 different sets. One has 10 pencil crayons with these various colors, and the other set has 13, and it has the black, white, and the gray. And these are all Stampin' Up colors. It's not just the regals or the neutrals or the subtles, it's a good mix. It's kind of the common colors you would want if you were coloring. So I've just pulled a bunch out here, and if you don't mind, I'm just gonna start coloring. And I love coloring with pencil crayons. I guess it takes me back to coloring books, and as a child I loved to color in coloring books. So I'm not pressing too hard. Of course, these can just be sharpened in your pencil sharpener, so lasts a long time. You don't have to worry about anything drying out over time. Okay, so now I'm going to not press as hard on the inside here and just fill in my rowboat. This is the early espresso that I'm using right now. And of course, you can create some shading. I'll just go across the middle here as well. This would be the part of the boat, probably the inside here. And now let's add a little bit of the gray, basic gray on this side to give a little bit of some shadowing. A little bit in here. I just don't want too much of the white showing through. Make this side a bit darker. Okay, and how about a little bit of coral on the tip, just to pop a color. And I'm going to make the seats, or maybe this is the bottom. I guess you'd have to, I suppose this is the bottom. Of course it is. The seats are the brown. And this is the bottom of the boat. And now I'm going to add different color for the beams across here. Of course, it doesn't have to be realistic to what your boat is. Just, you'll see why I chose these colors in a moment. Okay, and now I'm going to use some, this is the, oh, Bermuda Bay. I didn't want that one. I want the Balmy Blue. Got the wrong one. Here we go. Yes, Balmy Blue. And we're just going to add some water. We want our boat to be floating in the water. Here we go. So I'm not making this too dark. And if the boat were actually moving, then we might see some motion in the water like so. So I'm just adding a little bit that way and a little bit this way. Okay, so that looks just fine, but I want to add the watercolor look to this. So a couple of different ways you can do so. You can take a paintbrush, dip it in just plain water, dab it off a bit, or you can use our water painters. And these are useful for lots of different things. So this comes in a set of 3 water painters, and there are 3 different tips here. And all you do is twist off the end, add plain water, and then to get it to come to the tip, you just kind of give it a bit of a squeeze. I'm just going to do it over top of my tissue here. There we go. So now the tip is wet. And as I color with it, it's now going to kind of, there we go, blend together. Now when you're coloring, you want to not kind of go across the different colors. You don't want to just go like this, because it will pull the color from one area onto the next. So I'm just coloring the browns, and then I just keep getting it damp and squeezing it out. But I hope you can see the difference here. This has been colored, and then this has not. So as you color it in, it smooths it out and shows some of that shading that we did. Okay, I'm going to bring it back down here so I can have a bit more control as I color. Now, as I say, this is the watercolor paper. So the reason I'm using this is then I'm not worrying too much if I get quite a bit of water on this paper. It's not going to pill, I guess. It's not going to pill or tear, and it's not going to warp the way that just plain paper, if you get it wet, can do that. Okay, so that's pretty much the browns done. So now I'm just going to take my brush and go like this, and you saw just one little bit of brown came out. Now I've got clear again, and I'll go and do my darker red, and then I'll fill in the oranges on the bottom of the boat. So fun. Very easy to do. Doesn't take much power here. Just relaxed motion with your wrist back and forth. Okay, so I think my boat is pretty much done. Just going to fill in any white spaces there, drag that color through any spots that I may have missed. There we go. Okay, and now we're ready to do the water. So again, I'm just dropping a bit of water there, and here comes my water that my boat is in. Drop some more water. So I just have started playing with these water painters. They just arrived in an order for me this week, so I wouldn't say I'm an expert, however, I'm finding them very user-friendly and fun. So as I say, there's the set of 3. If you're wondering about any of the items I'm using tonight, check the description above this video and it will link you to the supply list with all of the items that I'm using. There we go. Okay, now again, just for time purposes, what I would do here is now I wanted to tear this a little bit. I suppose I have time to do it. So I'm going to tear this edge. I'm tearing it up towards myself. This is still a little bit damp, understandably so. I just finished painting it. So just giving it a little rough, torn edge. But so fun to use these watercolor pencil crayons. And as I say, they team very well with the water painters. There we go. Okay, so then I have a plain piece of Sahara sand cardstock, or crumb cake, sorry, this is crumb cake. And I didn't remember to score it, but that's okay. Just use the bone folder, give it a good crease. And then what I've done is I'm going to run this half through any one of our embossing folders. So you can emboss the front of a card directly instead of adding a layer. Okay, so I just want the front of the card. So I'm going to line it up like so that my fold is right at the edge of the folder, and then run it through my machine, and then you'll get a textured look to it. Okay, so here we go. I used the different blue. This time I used a different one on this one. And there you can see the textured look to the front of the card. Here I've got this texture with the painted piece. And then I used the heat embosser again with the gold embossing powder. And then I had some leftover gold ribbon and a little bit of the Calypso Coral, which is why I chose that as the color of the bottom of the boat, and just popped that on for that look. So a couple of these I were inspired by a gal on Pinterest, Wendy Wexler. And so this one was not Wendy's, but then we also had this one tonight. And then I made this one, but I also did the same idea using some of my retired product that I still had. I had some of this paper from the Waves paper. It was just available for a short period of time, but I still had some with the coordinating foil behind it. And I think it's a great way to use up product that you have. I never want to throw it out. I want to use up those things. So mixing old and new works very, very well. This is using the current designer paper, but this one is just using up some things that I had. And again, I've used the heat emboss for the label, and I decided to use a second color for the birthday on there. So I hope you like those. That one is the one that was inspired by Wendy Wexler. And here are the 4 cards that we did tonight. Let me clear these out of the way. Using the Adventurous Journey stamp set. So I hope you like those. Do you have a favorite? Is there one that you preferred over the other? If you're watching this on a replay, it will appear on my YouTube channel as well. I'd love it if you would subscribe to that channel and like anything that you see there. The host code for tonight only is this one. It's still valid tonight, and then tomorrow for September 1st, my host code will change. And watch for an email or a post with the discounted weekly deals starting tomorrow, September 1st to 7th. All right, thanks for joining in, and I will see you next month for Vintage Tools. All right, take care, my friends. If you wanted to join me for my next Sweet and Simple 4 birthday cards, check out my link tree. Take care. Bye for now.